Hi, this is Professor Kamble sir. Welcome all you to our course that is Intellectual Property Rights and our today's topic that is International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants that is UPOV. So first of all, keep in mind the long form of UPOV. Okay, generally whenever any long form is there in our subject IPR, that is same with the initial letters generally. Okay, and in our subject in objective type questions, so many times there is a question related to these particular long forms. So here UPOV, that is International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plant. So in our previous lectures we have gone through the different forms of IPR in which we are able to protect any secret of our trades, then trademarks, if any new research is there, in case of these particular researches, we may apply for the patent. Okay, so these are all the forms of intellectual property rights through which we are able to protect our intellectual properties or intellectuals, okay, which are the ideas of a particular person which should not be copied from anything anywhere else. That idea or research should have some benefits, economic benefits, then that should be come in use of our society. Okay, so we are able to get the patent, but here this UPOV, in the name itself, protection of new varieties of plants. So whenever we are having new varieties of the plants, so it is also important to protect them. If we are not protecting, somebody else will get the material, get the seeds of these varieties, and he will multiply and he will get the benefits instead of the original farmer or particular person who is involved in the research of the new varieties. Okay, so here this International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants is playing an important role, or it's one of the important function, that is protection of new varieties of the plants. So in our lecture, we are going to discuss about the origin, history, including brief introduction to UPOV and protection of plant varieties under the UPOV. How we are protecting varieties under this particular organization that we are going to discuss today. So first of all, we'll discuss about some historical background of the UPOV. Patent Act on Plants was first introduced in Germany in 1866. Okay, so before this Germany's Patent Act, there is a no provision to protect plant varieties, and there is a no patentability of plants. So it was the first step by the government of Germany to have prepared or formulated and patent act on plants in 1866. Next point, the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, declared 1961 as a World Seed Year. Okay, so by the FAO, for a particular aspect in agriculture or any other sector, they are declaring a particular year for that particular purpose. Okay, so it's always happening, and during 1961, that was the World Seed Year. Okay, so in this particular year, whatever things related to the seed, it may be improvement, it may be some new laws, or some deficiencies are related to the seed corporation, or related any activity related to the seed that can be done in this particular year by number of members of this FAO. So during which many activities in which International Convention for the Protection of New Varieties of the Plant held at Paris in 1961 for union formation. Okay, so here it was the first step with respect to the formation of this organization, that is International Convention for the Protection of New Plant Varieties, which was held in Paris 1961. Then UPOV was established in 1961 by the International Convention for the Protection of New Varieties of the Plants. Okay, so this is the same convention in which the formation of UPOV was takes place, and the headquarter of this particular is based in Geneva, Switzerland. Then, as we know, number of members and parties are there for each organization or institution in intellectual property rights. So UPOV has 75 members till the date, that is May 2nd, 2019. Now it may be increased, but I have the data really up to the last year. 19 states and one intergovernmental organization have initiated the procedure. What it means? It means other than these 75 members, another 19 states and one intergovernmental organization have initiated the procedure. Means they also want to become a member of UPOV. So they also have started the procedure. Then next point, 24 states and one intergovernmental organization in contact with the office of UPOV. So here, any country or state who want to develop their laws, or they want to follow the UPOV, at that time they will come in the contact of UPOV office with respect to the initiation of the process to become a member of UPOV. The next UPOV mission is to provide and promote an effective system of plant variety protection. So here we are able to check main aspect. Okay, so here we are able to check the main aspect functioning of the UPOV mission, that is to provide and promote an effective system of plant variety protection with aim of encouraging the development of new varieties of plants for the benefit of society. So as we know, whenever new varieties are there, they are having some particular beneficial characteristic. Okay, it may be stress tolerance, it may be resistance to the abiotic and biotic sources, it may be higher yield, it may be resistant to the diseases and pest. So whenever new varieties are there, they are meant for a particular purpose through which, or that is mainly inserted in that particular variety. So there will be the benefit to society. The initial draft of PBR laws was prepared by UPOV in 1961 and amended in 1972, 78, and 1991. So it's also one of the major role of UPOV in formation of or initial draft of the plant breeders' right laws, which was prepared by the UPOV and later amended. Okay, so amendments are there for each law, as the law is missing some important data, or maybe need to increase some sections under that particular law. Whenever this type of necessity is there, amendments are there, and timely amendments are necessary for the particular laws. So here also Three times amendments was there: 1972, 78, and 1991. The farmers' privilege and traders' privilege were allowed in 1978 UPOV convention. Now, farmers' privilege and traders' privilege. Okay, so these are the important terms which was included in 1978 UPOV convention. Farmers' privilege means what? So any new variety developed by the farmer and have got protected of that variety, but even that the farmer is able to use or reuse this material. Okay, even that particular variety is protected under the IPR or laws of protection of plant varieties. Farmer is able to reuse that sowing material or seeds. That is farmer's privilege. And breeder's privilege also same, where the breeders are allowed to use that particular seeds for further research or further use. Then the main objectives of UPOV. So first of all, provide and develop the legal, administrative, and technical basis for international cooperation in plant variety protection. Okay, so it's one of the main objective, that is providing the provide and develop the legal, administrative, and technical. So whenever any new country is willing to follow UPOV, or they are also willing to provide protection to the new varieties, they will have to go through the UPOV's directives. Okay, and in that particular cases, UPO will provide all type of the help and particular legal, administrative, and technical cooperate with that new countries. Then assist state and organization in the development of legislation and the implementation of the effective plant variety protection system. So any new country, new state is coming to join the UPOV, then there is a lot of necessaries are there, that is development of legislation and implementation. Okay, any new laws are there as per the countries, there may be some changes. Okay, so that points need to study, need to develop. So all these type of the assistant will be provided by the UPOV. Next, enhance public awareness and understanding of the UPOV system of plant variety protection. Okay, so it's also important to have awareness in the public with respect to the new varieties, development of the new varieties, and also understanding of the UPOV. That is also one of the major function of UPOV. Next, protection of the plant varieties under UPOV. Now, what are the different forms through which we are able to protect the varieties? What are the different directives provided by the UPOV for the protection of varieties, in which there are particularly two laws are there: UPOV Act 1978, UPOV Act 1991. Okay, some changes are there in between these particular two. So some major features are there which we'll discuss, in which first one is the protection coverage. Now, protection coverage, under the protection coverage, we are able to protect wide range of the plant varieties, in which first one is there, that is plant varieties of nationally defined plants. Okay, nationally defined, that is the plant variety, mainly the plants will be, or the plant should be present worldwide, sorry, nationally. Okay, so in major countries it should be there, major state it should be there, then only the varieties of that particular plant will be protected. Under the UPOV Act 1991, plant variety of all plant genera and species. Okay, whether it is nationally or it's not there in some states, even that case also the variety of the new plant will be protected. Next feature, that is requirement for protection. Now, as we gone through in the patent, there are some requirements, okay, in which we have gone through. That is, first one is innovativeness. Okay, means that particular idea, particular thing should be new. which should not be exist in any form before. Like that, here also some requirement for the protection of the varieties are there, in which first one is the distinctiveness. Okay, distinctiveness means what? For example, we have maize crop in which already 100 varieties are there. Okay, for example, but one more introduced by some other institute, and which is having some good characteristics which are not present in previous 100 varieties. So this distinctiveness should be there, okay, which is not previously present, which is necessary in both the acts. Second one, uniformity. Uniformity is also one of the important thing. Uniformity means what? Whether we are getting and particular characteristics. For example, crops height is there, yield is there, uh, physiological characteristics are there, genetic characteristics are there. Okay, so all these particular characteristics should be having some uniformity. Then only the variety will be protected. Then stability. Now stability means what? When we are growing it in the wide range in the different parts of the state, at that time also the variety should have proper stability. Okay, there should not be any variation with respect to yield, with respect to any physiological characteristics. Okay, that variety should be genetically stable. Then only we will get it phenotypically stable. So stability is also one of the important characteristics or feature for the protection of the variety under UPOV. Then duration of the protection. Now duration of the protection is different in both the acts. First, that is minimum 15 years, while in 1991 it is minimum 20 years. Then scope of protection. Now scope of protection in the first act, that is UPOV Act 1978, commercial use of a reproductive material of protected variety. In the second act, commercial use of all material of protected variety. Okay, so here commercial use of reproductive material of protected variety means what? For example, we are having maize. In case of maize, if we are using the grain, okay, as we know grain is the reproductive material, means if we are taking this grain for in a new variety, and if we use it sowed, if we are sowing it, then we will get the crop, and again we are able to multiply the same seed. Okay, so and this particular commercial use of reproductive material of protected variety is protected under this UPO Act 1978, while in 1991 all material of that variety is protected. It may be flower, it may be seeds, it may be leaves. Okay, all type of the material related to the variety are protected. Next, breeders exemption. Okay, now breeders exemption and from farmer privilege, both are almost same, in which breeders will get the exemption, or they will have some soft corner with respect to the use of the newly variety seeds in the research and further use for the development. It's allowed in 1978, while in second act, that is 1991, also allowed except for the essentially derived varieties. Okay, in case of essentially derived varieties, it's not allowed. Then farmers privilege. Okay, farmers are even the material or the seeds which are protected under the IPR, farmers are able to reuse it without any permission from any authority. So that is your farmers privilege, which is allowed in UPOV Act 1978, and 1991 it is optional, left to the national laws. Means any countries who are allowed, or some countries may not be allowed. Okay, so it's depend on the countries. UPOV is not have any compulsion on the countries to be yes or no, allowed or not allowed. So these are the two laws designed or developed by the UPOV with respect to the protection of the newly formed varieties. And these are the particular important features under these particular laws for the protection of new varieties. Then UPOV system and UPOV membership were associated with. Okay, so what are the particular motto of this UPOV and the countries who are taking the membership of UPOVs, in which increase the breeding activities. Okay, so it is one of the important topic, one of the important point, as breeding is necessary for increase the production or with the change the climatic conditions or population is increasing day by day. So all these problems we need to tackle, and for this purpose we should have and breeding activities, then only we are able to produce new varieties, and we are able to meet our requirements. Then second important point, that is greater availability of improved varieties. Now, for example, in India we have developed many varieties, but they are not available in other part of the world. Okay, so if any new major varieties are there of major crops, that should be used by some other countries also, which will encourage the breeding activities. It will increase the availability of the varieties, so it is also important. Then increase the number of new varieties. Okay, as the breeding activities will increase, it will directly proportional to the varieties released. Then diversification of types of breeders, for example private breeders, researchers. Okay, so any new research institute is there, or some private breeders are also there who are working under the private companies, that will also get those also get encouraged. Then increased number of foreign new varieties. Next important point, encouraging the development of new industries, competitiveness on foreign markets. Okay, so whenever number of researchers are there, maximum number of institutes are high, in that case work will be high, new varieties released, that also high. So it will create competitiveness, and so it is directly beneficial to the society. Next, improved access to foreign plant varieties and enhanced the domestic breeding program. Okay, so any new improved access, for example, new improved varieties are there which are from some foreign countries. So that can also be used in other countries' breeding programs. Okay, for the diversification, some improvement will be there. So this is also one of the important point with respect to the increasing breeding activities. So all these are the roles of UPOV for the protection of newly released or new plant varieties. Not released but new plant varieties. Okay, before releasing we should go for this protection, patenting, then only will release. Okay, so all this about UPOV. So we'll stop here today. In the next lecture, we will come with a new topic, new point, that is the protection of plant varieties and Farmers Right Act 2001. Okay, so this is one of the important act of our syllabus that we'll discuss in our next lecture. So we'll stop here. Thank you.